In that context of a council of ministers with weighted voting and reform of Sewell, why then would we require, in a post-Brexit scenario in particular, where decisions would be made at levels that are clarified, would we need a Secretary of State for what I'm trying to understand the constitutional? So I understand you're not a federalist because of the reasons you've outlined. I understand that you are opposed to any one nation having a veto over any other, although it sounds to me like England would probably still end up with a veto by the size because of its size. Why then will we have somebody around the British cabinet table then able to undermine the intergovernmental arrangements then that have been put in place for a new context? It seems a bit pre-devolution to me, the existence of a...
Well, I think at that point you do start raising the question of the existence of the Wales office. I don't think we're at that point now. I think it's important that we have somebody around the UK cabinet table. Although what I will say is I think it's absolutely important, and this is our practice, that we don't have to discuss matters with the UK government through the intercession of the Wales office, because we have direct relationships with the UK government departments, and the Wales office shouldn't be the conduit through which we have to go every single time, and that's not what happens. But yes, with the proper intergovernmental machinery, the proper decision-making process, probably you are in a position then of wondering whether you need territorial officers or not.
Just finally, Chair, for me, we've been discussing what might seem very sensible to people who are involved in devolution every day, and I, of course, am very sceptical that we'll get these constitutional changes because that's not how the United Kingdom works as configured. Do you think that a no-deal Brexit, or even a Brexit with a deal but without constitutional reform, does that make Welsh independence more or less likely, do you think, in the longer term?
I think it makes it more difficult to operate in the UK. I'm not going to say that I think independence then is likely. I think that's not the step that I advocate for obvious reasons. But there's no doubt that if the UK doesn't get its internal governance right in terms of the relationship between the different governments within the UK, that will cause problems in the future that could be avoided. There's no need for this to happen. It could be done very sensibly and very quickly, to my mind. Otherwise, you end up in a situation where you can have perpetual disputes between the different governments in the UK, and that's not in anybody's interest.
Thank you, Chair.